I'm Martin, also one of the founders. We've been working with David since 2007, maybe. Before that, we took courses together, whatever. We knew each other for a while. And I have a confession to make. I just switched to an Android. Sorry about that. I've been using iOS since the 2G, but now Sony got my heart and soul for a while. We'll see how long it lasts. But anyway, I'm going to talk about my latest project here. I've been working on this since August, so it's 8 months, right? What it's called, it's Etalio Mobile ID. It's a project together with Ericsson. And basically, I'm also going to hand out some giveaways then, because this is a shameless pitch, basically, so hang on. T-shirts and, of course, a pin. Well, whatever, we take that later. So, what is Etalio then? This is the $10,000 question. Etalio is what we're not allowed to say a competitor to Facebook login. Even though Ericsson and Facebook has they kind of joint venture, so we're not allowed to say that we're heading against them. But anyway, we're not really competing to get against them. What we try to do is an alternative to a social login. So instead of having your Google Plus icon, your Twitter icon, your Facebook login, just to be you should use your mobile phone. And what it is, and what we try to do here is something that is completely open, completely free, completely transparent. So this is our slogan. Helps us manage your digital identity and protect your privacy online. So we try to give out the information, give it back basically to who you are. So if you're online, you will know who knows who you are and what they know about you. And we asked around developers like you, and we've been standing at Centralstationen in Stockholm and also in a lot of other countries and asked people what they felt about their internet presence. And we thought that we might find a few that would say something about privacy and maybe feel that Google and Facebook and the other ones are getting a little bit too much information about you. But we realized that was, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it was 4 out of 10. Just ordinary people. It didn't matter age, gender, anything. People were starting to get really worried about their internet presence and their internet privacy. And these 3 words were popping up. I mean, this is also a problem when you're talking about developers. When you're using a Facebook login just to make people log into your app, you're giving Facebook or Google or Twitter or whatever you're using a lot of information. Basically, they capitalize on your app. That's what they do. And we try to not like that. Maybe you're just cheap, maybe you like open source, maybe you're just keen on your own privacy. And well, we thought, why not let the operators tend to be very trusted around the world. They're actually more trusted than banks, if you look at statistics. They tend to be enabled for this. Operators tend to be very private, trustworthy, and maybe not transparent, but we can change that. Especially together with Ericsson. And Ericsson came to us and we had a long discussion, and this was a huge project just around what we should do and how we should do it, and we had discussions with the mobile ID in Finland, because they have a huge working mobile ID today. It's very expensive, but it's great actually. And we did field studies, and we have been discussing with GSMA, the whole organization around all the operators, and came up with the idea of looking at Mozilla, believe it or not. Well, Mozilla is a foundation, so it's governed by itself, and it's trustworthy because they're completely transparent. And they have trustees. For Mozilla, it's, you name it, big corporations. They basically put money in and ask them politely, can you please create something with this money? And they say maybe yes or maybe no. But the most important part here is that they're actually for users. They're an open, transparent organization without any, and they're not making money out of this basically. So we thought if we're going to make something like this, we should make it a foundation. So right now we're doing all the legal work. There's no legal foundation today because we released a week ago, but we will have it pretty soon. And we've been working on this by developers, for developers. We will ask him what you want, and we try to build it what you wanted. So we created SDKs for iOS. It's basically an OAuth authentication in the background, and we are following the basic procedure with all that, but we have stuff like two-factor authentication, we have different security levels, and of course we let the end users decide on what you should know and not should know. And we also wrote the manifesto, which is not really done yet either. We will be done at the same time with the foundation. So the manifesto says that you're not allowed to capitalize on any of the data. You're not allowed to peek on any of the data. You're not allowed to use any of the data at all outside what the end user has accepted you to do, which is a big difference to what it used to be. Android, iOS, Ruby on Rails, Ruby, PHP, and a few others are already done. We're already using them because we built the whole ecosystem around it. We've been jumping around we've been eating our own dog food basically, so we're building all this in all the different platforms. So if you go into the developer portal, it's written in PHP. If you go into the main site, it's written in Ruby on Rails, just because we want to make sure everything is working properly. But I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about the CocoaHeads SDK. And they look pretty much the same, all of them, of course. So if you have a service that uses several platforms, you will be kind of glad. And we also had 13 early beta users, companies, that tried this out. They started before Christmas, basically got everything, complete access to all the repositories and everything, and they've been hammering out the issues and coming with feedback and trying it out, and they absolutely love it, and they really do like the fact that their identity is the users, not theirs, and not a big company somewhere. Back to the Cocoa SDK. It's licensed by Apache 2.0, so feel free. And it's also released as a CocoaPod, if you want to use it like that. Otherwise, just check out source code, comment, do pull requests, and if you don't want to do any pull requests, please just give feedback. Because right now we launched, as I said, a week ago, exactly today, at Mobile World Congress. We got approximately 10% of the world's operators on board, which is quite awesome after a week. And we had the little fox guy. It's already done, basically. You can register today at etalio.com, or you can download the iOS app. It's on App Store after a lot of discussions with Apple. They were very threatened by this mobile ID, because I think they were going to do their own version of this. But finally, after some high management pushing, we got it through after some months. So it's on App Store. You can create your own ID as anyone else, like 6 billion people in the world. And as this is a chicken and the egg situation, I mean, to be able to have traction for people, we need apps. To be able to have apps, we need traction we need people. So basically we really want you to implement this. We don't say you can only have mobile ID. Please add it together with Facebook or whatever. But if you add it, we will help you as much as we can. Ericsson will also help you as much as you can. And we will also try to promote you if we can, so we can get traction for users. So I think that was my last slide. Yeah, it was. Do you have questions? Please ask. Did I miss anything? Is this
just a short one.
Yeah?
What is it called? Etalio?
Great one. It's very clever. It's it is. Et al, Latin for together. IO. It's for us or something like that. So it's by us together for us, something like that. And it's not taken, which is good. How many how many 6-letter words are not registered already? So well, yeah, that's probably why. It sounds good.
Cool.
It seems something like you might want to try and look at.
So is it going to be like one of like a Facebook button and you just click and log into etalio?
Yes, exactly. I didn't show any of that. We could take it in break. Yeah.
So this is basically the user just adds the information they want exposed to app developers or whatnot.
It's not that way around. It's you ask. It's just like you ask permissions. You say, I want to know your first and last name. I want to know your email address. And I mean, how you're supposed to, as a developer, ask for as little information as possible. But the important part here is that the end user can go into their etalio app and see, okay, I added the Last.fm account here last week. I don't want them to be able to access my account anymore. They can also see a log on whatever happened on your account.
Right.
So we try to have it as transparent as possible. Yes?
How does etalio relate to OpenID?
Well, we had discussions with OpenID, the foundation around it, and we are thinking about using their protocol basically, because they're not really they kind of match, but the problem with OpenID is that it's so slow, and it's also they have some fundamental problems with they're not really compatible with each other. You need to follow the latest and greatest definition, and it's not already done, and well, it's a very slow organization. If you look at who's in the steering group, you will know why, because it's one guy from Google, one guy from Facebook, one guy from Mozilla, one guy from Sun, no, Oracle, sorry, and Yahoo, and they're trying to, yeah, that's why it's not OpenID today. There's also one thing called OpenID Connect. It's a different project which we kind of lean to. But we don't really see a problem. We should, I mean, that's why, I mean, if people want us to be compatible with OpenID, we can easily add it. We just need someone to want it, basically, and put a feature request there. And I promise you, we will get back to you.
Is there some way to verify a user? Like if someone gets authenticated?
Yeah.
How can I know that?
That's a really good question. Well, in the in phase 1, where we are today, but not for many weeks more, you will only know that the phone number that the user tells you is the correct phone number to that person. What we will have, and when we have operators on board, is we have discussions with countries, basically whole countries around this. Well, they discussing how to use this as the real ID. So the operator, you go into your Telia store and you show your driver's license and say this is actually Martin, and they put a checkbox in your etalio account and say this is a verified account. They can also add two-factor authentication and all sorts of things, and that makes you an upgraded etalio user. So that's built in from day one. But since we don't have any Telia on board right now, it's very hard for us to verify real users. But that's the plan. So it's going to be a real ID. The thing is, we want to use it for your bank. Yes.
Is it based around phone numbers?
Yeah.
In that case, how does it deal with multiple platforms, like you have an iPhone and an iPad and you authenticate?
You need your phone with you to be able to do. I mean, we have two right now. We have 2 levels of authentication. There's also going to be a third one that I just explained. 2 levels today, which means level 1 minimum security. You could add it, and the developers choose for your service which one you want to use. So basically, if you want to choose the minimum security one, people will just use their old session, be logged in like that, just accept it, because it's not really any personal information going around. It's not that sensitive. If you want to be on the level 2 one, then we actually want to be able to see the real phone number. Then you need to be level 2. you need to also have an acceptance through your phone. So if you have the etalio app, you can just pick up the phone, log in, and press accept, because it will be you will have a push notification here. So if you sit on your computer, you will just add your phone and press accept. If you don't have your phone, you will have an SMS which you type in with the code. So that's how the phone number is the validation, basically.
You do that directly with the carriers?
Yeah. Now it works today as well. You don't need the carrier right now. We pay for it.
Okay.
Ericsson pays for it because they want this to be a big project. More questions? Or else you can just ask me in the break. Great.
Okay, I think we will have a 5-minute break. So grab one more beer and yeah.
And grab a shirt.
5 minutes.